Welcome back to this ongoing review of Cody Ziglar's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Today, it's issue number 2. Now, if you haven't seen my review of issue 1, you can check that out right about here in the top corner. Check that video out because we broke down exactly what Cody Ziglar is going to be planning for this issue. So it's a lot of stuff to get in there. It's not going to all be within each issue. So watch that video. And also, obviously, I want to keep things going, keep things smooth for you going forward. That way I don't have to over-explain to you guys too much. And by the way, if you like this video, please tell the YouTube algorithm what you like. Help it out, help me out. And what would be even bigger to help me out actually is if you subscribe, and that way you're here every month for every one of these reviews and so much more comic book related content. Without further ado, I'm Jeff. Let's get into it. Now, in the last book, Cody Ziglar pretty clearly stuck to his message. He wants to take Miles Morales back to his street level crime fighter roots, taking him back to the sort of Spidey themes of responsibility to himself and others, his superheroism life, and then his normal human life. And that picks up right here. Miles is doing his chores around the house after being suspended from school, and still fuming about what Mr. Akpolo told him in class. In the very next panel, Tiana Toomes, aka Starling, Miles' sort of girlfriend, confronts him about going MIA with her too. Miles apologizes and tells her what's been going on, but Tiana is not letting him off easy. She's fed up with Miles and not really down with anything he has to say. Even when he says he's concerned about Ganke getting hurt, getting mixed up in all this stuff, which I get because in another universe not so long ago in his story, he just saw Ganke die, and he almost lost his sister, and he's lost other people, as we've mentioned, so he's been through a lot just before this. Also, unlike Mr. Akpolo, she actually knows Miles. She knows what he's going through, and so even though he might not be the greatest person, he's still learning, he's still trying, and he's living a pretty difficult life, so I guess I understand his concern. And even though Tiana recognizes all this, she still gives him the business, and he caves and says that he's being selfish and not stepping up for his friends. And I don't know about you, but I really don't agree with that. I'm not even sure now which one of these things Miles is telling the truth about, or if Tiana is going to realize that he's not really in the wrong here and that she's kind of being a little bit harsh. And sure, you know what? She's a kid too. She also needs to kind of learn what the difference is between someone being avoidant and someone actually dealing with things. But again, I think she's being a little bit harsh, just like everybody in Miles' life seems to be right now. So after getting chewed out again, Miles ditches his chores and goes out to find out how Bumbler got his new hardware from the last issue. He goes back to the building Bumbler was robbing, but instead finds Misty Knight, who is also on a job. Quick aside, what we talked about in my review of the first issue is finally happening. Cody Ziglar mentioned that he wanted to give Miles a new mentor, specifically a new black mentor, and that is Misty Knight. Misty has been hired by someone to investigate some missing electronics, and it seems like it might be pretty big. She first notes Miles leaving a mess behind when he fought Bumbler in the last issue. Miles obviously doesn't take Bumbler as a serious threat and assumes there's no connection. But Misty pretty quickly corrects him not to dismiss Bumbler so fast. And so, on second thought, Miles makes the connection with Bumbler's upgrade and the missing electronics. So Miles suggests that they team up, considering he knows Bumbler and that might help give her a lead. Honestly, I get the sense that Miles knows that he needs guidance. He wants it. He needs guidance right now. He needs someone that can help him with his specific struggles that no one else has really been able to figure out. And then Ganke calls and asks what's been, quote, eating him, and that he got in-school detention because Miles, quote, flipped his lid on Mr. Akpolo. Okay, we need to stop and talk about the dialogue in this one. I'm reaching out to all the Gen Z kids out there watching this video. Did you guys bring back what's eating you and flipping your lid? Is that a thing now too? I'm 29, I know, I'm very old, but I use TikTok. I feel like I've never heard that, and maybe Cody Ziglar is cooler than me. I don't know, I wouldn't even doubt it, to be honest with you. And I need you to tell me in the comments below, is this a thing that you guys say? Who is more out of touch, me or Cody Ziglar? Anyways, Miles is kind of a jerk to Ganke and gets annoyed just by him calling in the heat of the moment. He's sort of embarrassed here, but he then says it's superhero stuff and he wouldn't get it, which rightfully pisses Ganke off. Miles, what are you doing here, man? I just vouched for you. Then you go and say that Ganke, one of the only people that would understand your situation, one of the only people that has stuck with you no matter what. He's your ride or die guy, and he has given you the most unconditional love and respect and support, and then you're gonna talk to him like that? You're gonna talk down to him like that? My guy, what are you doing? Misty gives him some quick advice about how caring about people while being a hero has its challenges, including pushing people away. Miles is obviously struggling with that balance right now. He wants to focus on being a hero over being a friend, which I think obviously is a reaction that makes sense. His normal life is really punishing him versus rewarding him. His hero life is the most rewarding and cathartic thing in his life right now. So they head out and look for more clues. And Misty preaches patience to Miles and about having a plan. But it's more than just being a hero, especially for her compared to Spider-Man, because she has no mask and everyone can racially profile her. And that comes with a different set of consequences. She has to be more practical and not leave anything to chance like Peter can. Finally, the thieves start their break-in, and just as quickly as they got in the door, Scorpion attacks, who also has new upgrades. Scorpion says that he got the new hardware after Miles put him away, after someone made a deal to take Miles out as payment. Then we suddenly switch over to Tiana, who's been stood up by Miles, but then gets a text from him somehow. And when she turns around, Rabbel ambushes her. Starling puts up a good fight, but Rabbel's tech is just too advanced. It seems like she can hack just about anything. She shuts down Starling's wings and sends her crashing to the ground below, knocking her out. And in the final panel of issue 2, she shows pictures of Ganke, Jefferson, and Rio, saying she's going to make them pay for underestimating her. So, issue 2 really picked up the pace a lot. We got our first appearance of Misty Knight, we got our first appearance of Raneem as Rabbel. The action in this book was great. Vicentini's art is still probably the best part of this book, and that's not really a diss, it's really just that good. It's on another level for me. But as a whole, I think the book is good. Despite some weird writing, I think we're moving in the right direction, but it is hard to know right now. It's hard to have like a really strong opinion because things still feel very murky right now. It's hard to know how every character kind of feels about the issues that they're talking about or each other even. So we kind of have to wait and see, which I hope in a sense isn't all about just one moment, because that can really make a book very polarizing. It's either you're gonna have one negative opinion or one really positive opinion on it. If you're going on just pure buildup, that's kind of what tends to happen. So I hope there's buildup, but not just all about one moment, like one significant thing. I really hope we start to see more things being fleshed out. And that's fine, obviously. We're only at issue 2. Issue 3, I feel like there's gonna be a little bit more definitive things happening there, because I think the action did ramp up pretty quickly. The stakes are already kind of high right now. Going forward into issue 3, I think we're really interested to see what is Rabbel's plan. What is she going to do? What's her message? What's her point in all of this? So far, it seems pretty clear. She knows Miles. She seems to have some kind of emotional tie to him and maybe even his family and Ganke. And it really makes me feel good about the theory that I had, my prediction in issue 1. I think that one's probably gonna come true. I feel like she is probably either from Miles' first school and knows Miles, knows Ganke, maybe feels abandoned by them more than just abandoned by society in general and just kind of taking it out on Miles. I think that's always a really good perspective. It's always good to kind of contrast things because people do sometimes just get lucky in life. Sorry to say, but sometimes people just get really lucky in life and others get abandoned. And I think it's always really important to have that perspective and show that it can really, in a way, warp your perspective and make you become really bitter towards people and take your anger out on people like Miles, in this case, that probably, I think we're gonna find out, doesn't really deserve it. Lots of questions, so leave some comments below. Let me know exactly what you feel about this issue. How do you feel about the direction that they're going in? And did I miss anything? Because if I did, you gotta tell me, you gotta let me know. And if you have different opinions, that is totally cool with me. Just let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please drop a like, and of course subscribe, so that way you can come and be around here for the next month's issue of Spider-Man Miles Morales and a whole lot of other comic book content. There's gonna be a lot more going on right here. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.